In this video, we're gonna build a real Foxy animatronic that actually moves and talks like a pirate.
It's almost Halloween and we build crazy stuff this time of year, and this is gonna be one of the hardest things we've ever made.
And because Foxy's a pirate, we're gonna start with this insanely cool pirate animatronic and give it a total makeover.
Oh, and we're gonna do Withered Foxy because this is for Halloween and he just looks spookier.
This animatronic is seriously impressive. He's got a bunch of different movements, including a fully animated head, his eyes look all around, and of course, he talks like a pirate.
Here be another scallywag.
It's almost a shame that we have to completely destroy him.
Yar, put my head back on right now, you scallywag.
So how are we gonna turn this into Foxy?
The plan is to break this down into 3 parts: the endoskeleton, the suit, and the head. For the endo, we'll use a bunch of different kinds of foam. The suit, we'll try to 3D print if it's not too heavy. The head though is huge, and we have to somehow get the eyes, mouth, and neck to rotate, which is gonna be crazy hard. But we'll get back to that later.
We're gonna start with the endoskeleton, which is the thing under his suit. Starting with his foot, I'm carving out every single toe and bar and ring out of this pink foam, and there are so many parts.
That looks so good. How did you do that?
It received a series of whackings. Start with like a big one, so this is like a nice little round thing, and that gives me some big texture. Then we go a little bit smaller, and then you do the pokey one and make holes in it. A little crumpled up aluminum foil kind of blends it all together.
Okay, so I got whack it, beat it, poke it, dab it, put tin foil on it?
Yeah, that's basically it. So moving up the legs to his leg rings, I got these foam discs on Amazon and they are the perfect width, but unfortunately not the perfect height. I'm gonna take one of these and slice it in half and then we'll glue it on. To give the rings that stacked look, I'm gonna put a little indentation in with my hot wire tool and then bevel all the edges before I glue it together. So now I gotta make a bunch more of these, and once they are all dry, I'm gonna give it the same aging treatment that I did the foot, and then we can paint them. So these need to be sealed before we can paint them, so to do that I'm gonna use some Mod Podge that I tinted with a little bit of black acrylic. And I'm hoping that the black tint will help it so when I paint it silver, it'll give it like a better base coat. With this foam pipe insulation, I'm cutting a really shallow slit and then I'm hitting it with a heat gun and that opens it up and makes a really cool shape. So many pieces. But I think this is everything. Next up, a black wash to make everything look older. Now that all these parts are painted, we can assemble the endoskeleton.
Does Withered Foxy have wires sticking out of his feet, the same way Freddy does?
You know, I was wondering that too. I don't know.
There's so much awesome fan art of Foxy that it's hard to tell what's actually from the game. But let's ask Aria. All right, type my question. Okay, yes, he does. To make a character, we need to know every tiny little detail about them, which means doing a ton of research online, and Opera desktop browser is an awesome tool for doing that, and basically everything we do on the web.
It does so many cool things, like being able to group all of your tabs into tab islands, which I really need. I constantly have so many tabs open, and this lets you organize them by category so you can easily find what you're looking for. And you can even give them emojis.
There's a snapshot feature, which I love. It lets us grab and make notes on images right from the browser. There's also Aria, which is Opera's built-in AI. I can open the command line with Control or Command/ and ask it to do things like summarize how Withered Foxy looks, add lots of detail. Aria also has image recognition, so I can show it a picture of Foxy and say, describe the texture of the fur, or any other questions we have about the image.
You can also pop out any video you're watching on YouTube so you can keep your favorite Wicked Makers video playing while you're doing other stuff.
On top of all that, you can turn on a built-in ad blocker with a single click. There's also a free VPN and tracker blocker, which helps you browse the web safely.
If you want to level up your browsing experience with something that's smarter, faster, and safer, click the link in the description to download Opera Desktop Browser today. Thanks to Opera for sponsoring this video, and now let's put that Foxy endoskeleton together.
Time to assemble the endoskeleton?
Yes. In there?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Look at this! Look at this thing!
So cool, I love it.
Jaimie, you did such a good job on this.
You know, it's like you have a big pile of foam and then it finally comes together and it turns into something, and I love it. It's so cool.
Oh, it's sauce.
Oh.
I sent him a picture.
Hey!
Foxy's endoskeleton is looking perfect. Remember to keep in mind that his head is about the size of his torso, so it's going to weigh a lot, I'm sure. So add some extra bracing around the neck and probably around the legs too, so the whole thing doesn't fall over. I am so excited to see what you guys do with this. It's looking amazing so far.
What you got there?
I've been trying to figure out the best way to make the whole suit, and this is my first test.
It's huge.
Yes, it really is. I think this is gonna work though. Since Withered Foxy is from the games, we can start with an existing 3D model, and we basically fixed it up so we could 3D print it. I worked with one of the best modelers out there, Beardless Props, to get each piece of the suit just right so that it would fit the endoskeleton we made. The downside of doing it this way is this thing is heavy, which doesn't really matter for the pants because his legs don't move, but this is not gonna work for the arms. I'm gonna have to figure out something else.
1 week later.
Okay, I finished printing all of the plastic parts, so we've got the waist, we've got the legs, and we've even got some parts of the torso.
The torso is one of those moving parts. It's not gonna be too heavy, right?
I think it's gonna be okay. Oh, and I figured out how we're gonna do the arms. Remember what we did on Bond's ears when we used the flexible 3D prints? Well, I tried the same thing for the arm pieces, and we printed the whole things out of TPU. So TPU is a flexible 3D printing material, and also you just print like a mesh instead of the whole thing. So now you end up with something that's rigid enough to hold a shape, but it's also super flexible and really, really light. Now we gotta glue all these pieces together and get everything ready for fur. Slight problem. The super glue does not stick to this at all. Hot glue, I guess?
Yes.
That seems to have worked.
Awesome.
Look at this. This is awesome. I'm super excited to see fur and fabric get put on all this stuff, but first, I've been working on something else I want to show you real quick. Yar, matey.
So cool. Does it work?
No. Oh, sort of. It sort of works. So the eyes work, and I'm working on getting the jaw hooked up. Basically, I took everything from inside the Captain Cuts animatronic and been trying to make it work. So I got a lot more work to do here, but it's pretty cool, right?
Love it.
What do we got here?
So our friend Little Gem made the most amazing Foxy cosplay. And so before I got fabric, I consulted with her and she told us all the right colors that she used. So that's what we got. So we got red for the body, brown for the pants, and this kind of peachish color for his belly. So these arm pieces are squishy and they have like this open mesh, which means the glue is gonna stick well, but I'm not sure how well it's gonna shape around this. Because it's squishy, rolling it onto the fur rather than rolling the fur onto it seems to be working better, because then I can use the table for support.
This is breaking my brain, but I think I finally got it. So we're about to assemble the endoskeleton head. And originally we weren't gonna do the inside head because it's too heavy, but then we realized that it would be smarter to use this to attach all the servos and motors and stuff to that, and then figure out how to do the big head on top of that. When I took the original head apart, there were 3 separate mechs. There was one for the eyes, one for the moving mouth, and then one for the head movement. After a whole bunch of versions of these parts, I'm 90% sure this will work, so we went ahead and spray painted him silver and painted some detail. For his eyes, I really just had to make them further apart and make sure there was enough room for the giant 4-inch eyeballs. We also made our own set of eyelids to match the size, and we painted and put some fur on those and also hooked them up to the mech. And luckily this part went pretty smooth and it works great. Check this out.
Here be another scallywag to join the crew. There for distant ports unknown.
So this is a makeover, so my goal is to reuse as many of the original parts as I can, even all the screws and stuff like that. The main task is really to figure out how to convert all of these parts to fit the new Foxy head. Another huge shout out to Beardless Props here for helping me figure out all this motor placement stuff. It was super hard, but we got it. What do you think?
This is so cool.
It's awesome, right?
Wow.
This little thing flapping down here is gonna move the jaw. And I made the lower jaw, but I haven't connected it yet. That's my next step.
So I'm glad you're at a good stopping point because we kind of have a big problem and I need your help.
What's the problem? What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. So I'm test fitting the torso on the body and I've just got this half taped on. It's fitting really, really nicely, but when I go to put this half on, see, it does not fit. This thing right here is in the way. So, it should be here.
I don't know, cut a hole in it or something?
I think so. I mean, he's got holes already all over him, so that should be fine. Since Withered Foxy already has so many holes, we figured, why not add some more?
I disconnected the spring so I can get this over, but there's something else.
Oh no.
But see this bar right here? This is the bar that goes up to move the shoulders back and forth. We have to cut more.
Oh, okay.
Here be another scallywag to join the crew.
This works.
Step in line and hop.
It looks like the side to side is working, right?
Yeah, it's a little close to this edge. All in all, not bad.
We're literally just cutting pieces off it until it fits. It's not complicated, it's just,
Sad.
part of the process.
Yeah.
I finally got the jaw working. Check this out. The main problem is that his jaw pivot is way back here and the motor is way up front. So I had to connect those two things somehow. And the solution ended up being really simple, but I had to build 20 versions of it to ultimately get to that simple solution. So inside here we have a Clovis mount on the top and the bottom connected by a little bit of linkage. And then we have some springs in the back which support the jaw and help it lift up. I kind of want to put this on the head now and try it. Can we do that next?
Yeah. Before we tested the head, we went ahead and finished Foxy's hand and hook. To make the hand, we carved all the little pieces out of foam, assembled it over a wire frame, and then finished it to look just like metal. For the hook, we 3D printed that and then made the rings out of foam and then gave it the same metal treatment. I took apart the pirate's hook and used that piece to attach our hook to Foxy's arm.
This is it. This is the first test.
Here we go.
It's working! It's working! It's doing stuff. Woohoo! Yes! I'm so happy. This has been a lot, you guys.
It's amazing.
So, okay, one concern. The head right now is leaning farther forward and Foxy's head is this big. If it leans too far, it's gonna fall off. So are we worried about that?
Maybe.
If you've seen any of our videos in the last year, like Dog Day,
That's not right.
or Catnap, or Ink Demon, Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. You know, we always have problems with the head because they're just so big. They're really heavy and hard to make. So our first plan was to use our new FOXY technique, but this is actually still too heavy.
So our next plan was to make it out of EVA foam, but to do that you need a pattern, and the fastest and most accurate way we know how to do that is to do the whole duct tape thing over an actual 3D printed piece.
So we made this. Now, normally when you 3D print something, you would never do this, but I reduced all the settings, like the walls to 1 and the infill to almost nothing. So this thing is incredibly fragile. I wanted it to print really fast for the pattern, but then we realized, wait a second, this is actually really light. And what if we just try this?
Yeah, so instead of the whole EVA head, we'll just use this and make sure to not drop it.
It's worth a try. Now I just have to glue it all together. Pretty good, right?
Awesome.
Look how light that is.
That's really light.
So I weighed this because I was curious, and this whole thing weighs like about 1.5 pounds. And this whole thing weighs about 1 pound. And because I was curious, I grabbed Catnap's head. All of this weighs almost 4 pounds. And then these two combined are just over 2 pounds. So
Nice, okay.
it's pretty good, right?
Yeah, we do have to add fur to this though, so that's what we're gonna do next. Well, so I was about to put this on, and then I realized that his snout is the wrong color. It was supposed to be the light peachish color, not red.
It's okay, you only spent the last hour and a half doing it. It's no
Yeah,
big deal, right?
it's fine. I'll just rip it all off. It was practice, yeah. And we're done.
That looks amazing.
Thank you. It always looks like a duck when there's no teeth and nose, but
Why
it's
does
a fox, I
everything
swear.
always look like a duck?
Quack. It's Saturday. This video comes out on Monday. There's still a million things to do. I have 28 teeth to make. His teeth are cone shaped, so I've got these styrofoam cones. We're gonna trim them, paint them, glue them in there, and it's gonna look great.
Boop the snoot. Do it. Finally time to put this guy together.
It's time to paint. We're gonna make him look old and, withered. So I'm adding some black paint along the edges to really sell that torn look, and then I'm going back in with some washes to add stains and dirt and stuff. I really just want him to look old and gross, like he's been sitting around for a while. Now that this is all painted, we can finally put the head together.
Remember those styrofoam eyes we made? Time to make some real ones. We're starting with the same 4-inch styrofoam balls, and we cut them in half and then cut off a slice in the front. Next, Jaimie gave them a wash with some paint to make them look dirty? Dirty eyeballs. We printed the irises on some glossy paper, cut them out, and glued them onto the eyes. To make them shiny, we found some clear Christmas ornaments that were also 4 inches, and they fit perfectly. Not only do they look super good, but they're incredibly lightweight. We are super happy with how this looks after adding all the fabric and the ears and the eyes and teeth and stuff, but it is way heavier than we thought, which is not good. We have not tried this yet because I'm afraid to turn it on. It's so heavy that I'm afraid it's gonna fall apart the second it starts moving.
But before we test it, we just want to say thanks for watching. Y'all are seriously the best. Let us know who you want to see next in the comments, and until next time, stay wicked.
You ready for this?
Ready.
Please don't break.
Here be another scallywag to join me crew. Step in line and hop to, or I'll cut ye down and swamp the deck with your entrails.
Works.
Never underestimate the cunning of a pirate, or a fox for that matter.
You done found me secret map, and I can't be having that information leaked anyway. You should have thought about your life before you dared to find me treasure. But empty your pockets first, and you won't be seeing any coins where you're going.
I came for ye booty. That be treasure, you know.